Hey everyone, what's up? This is Mozart speaking. I'll do an overview on Bitcoin. Yesterday, there was quite a significant drop. And as of today, from peak to peak, we've had a drop of $7,500. So that's more than 7%. I'll just say it straight, this drop is bad. It's pretty big. Overall, I don't like this absorption with a back test under the 50 moving average. But it's not critical for now. So, yeah, I mentioned in the Telegram channel that yesterday the data came out showing a very strong labor market in America, and accordingly, here's the chain. I won't repeat myself, yeah, I share all the trades in the Telegram channel. The link is in the description below this video. I share a lot less here on YouTube. This is just the overall context. But the key levels are holding, for now. Key levels. You can check the key zones, based on the diagonal channels. I'm not just drawing them for no reason. This is, by the way, the daily chart for Bitcoin. So here's the big white, ascending channel. Here, we've actually hit its lower boundary. Plus, there's a retest of two previously broken channels where there wasn't a retest. So this orange channel and the blue channel, we're looking at them right now. Retesting happens, it can occur, sometimes in big markets. This isn't something out of the ordinary, it's not something new, it happens. But, again, itself, this fact of complete absorption indicates that there's less liquidity in the market now than it was, right here. And there's a chance, I'll say it right away, there's a chance that the price will drop down by the amount of this absorption. So it will come back to touch the range of $91,000 to $93,000. That's going to be bad. In this case, the chances of a positive outcome will decrease. But, for now, they'll stay, because the cancellation of all bullish scenarios will happen for me. Right here. So, when we secure, when we move away. So, into this gap, into the zone of protection from Trump. Just in this case, if we go down here, most likely we'll still head up. It'll just take longer. It'll drag on until spring. Overall, the past year has been tough. Bitcoin experienced growth followed by a long correction. It's uncertain if another correction will occur. Early 2024 saw growth, a correction, and another growth wave. Generally, more growth waves occur, and corrections are broad. And right now, whether there will be a long correction is still unknown. Although at the beginning of 2024, there was an exception with a wave of growth, a correction. Like now, and then a second wave of growth. Generally speaking, there are usually more of these growth waves, and right now, the corrections are really broad. So, there's the first negative signal, and I won't deny it. And this drop, the return back below the 50 moving average, I'm not really liking it right now. And while we're in this zone, I wouldn't open any new trades just yet. So here, you either open up when it drops to the 91 to 93 range, maybe even lower, like on a retest of the 100 moving average, or you wait. That was a false breakout and a return below the 50 moving average. And here, we open up for a long again. This also confirms the horizontal volume. So, we see there's a block here. There was quite a significant trading activity in this block. So, here's some kind of lower boundary, let's say. These two zones have grown. I think this is probably a better way to draw that boundary. About $93,000. The lower boundary, the upper one, is around $100,000. And in this boundary, there's a kind of buffer zone where it's pretty risky to open new trades. Because if we break below this boundary, we have very small resistance levels left here, given this density. And we could drop all the way down to this zone. So, until we enter the Trump gap zone. All the way down to the marks of $87,000 to $85,000, we could be dropping somewhere around here. For now, we're in this block, and we're still trading within it. It's pretty much 50 to 50 here. I can't say anything specific, although, probably a little more for growth, because we've reached the limit. In terms of support boundaries, if we look at the daily chart, what options do we have on the 4-hour chart? If we manage to pull back and hold above this X, that would be a really good signal. Then, most likely, we'll start to gradually cover this whole drop, but we might retest this high and do it again. If we manage to pull back and hold above this X, that would be a really good signal. Then, most likely, we'll start to gradually cover this whole drop, but we might retest this high one more time. So, like this, just close all these gaps completely first. That's a more than reasonable and very realistic scenario in the current setup, and then we can turn around like that. This is a more than adequate and more than realistic scenario in the current design. And then we could turn around like that. That's also possible because there are still some unclosed gaps here that the price could fill, especially with the current low liquidity. That the price could close, especially with the current low liquidity. It's definitely not as low as it was in the summer, but it's lower than it was just a month ago. So, about Bitcoin. I'm still in a long position for now. The mark is 96,900. I was thinking about cutting back here, but I didn't end up doing it. But in the end, the price is now around 0. Well, if we're talking percentages from the SP, from the standard position, and I got out of Ethereum. So the price hit break-even at 3.313. It was the right decision to cut back by half here. So, this is also a trade from the Telegram channel. So, the remaining position hit break-even here. That's it. Basically, I can close my long position on Bitcoin right now at around 0 and still come out with a profit. Because of this setup, it'll be fine. If I do that, I'll write about it in the Telegram channel. The same goes for Total 3. It's pretty much the same picture, meaning the altcoins. This is where we should break out and push through this high. Then the chances of success will be much higher. But for now, this is where 4 people got caught up in the moving averages. This false breakout here is kind of stressing me out. We got out at 200, and now we're starting to move around it. But we really need to keep an eye on Bitcoin. It will dominate more in this setup. This false breakout. And we shouldn't go there. There is no need to go there, because in this case this whole structure can turn around and play out. Not up, but back down to the same height. So, this whole block, if we drop below $92,000 to $91,000, we could go all the way down to 84 to 83 with a dip, and that would be really unpleasant, I think, for everyone. And that would be really unpleasant. I think, for everyone. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just laying out an objective scenario because these scenarios change day by day. This is trading, and there's nothing I can do about it. If one scenario was in play before, now another one is taking over. It's a trade, and there's nothing I can do about it. If one scenario was in effect before, another one is in effect now. It's crucial to understand the timing in these scenarios. If I say we have a bull market, I mean it. This refers to weekly and monthly time frames. A correction to 91 to 93 refers to intraday time frames, like the 4-hour chart. So in this case, I'm talking about the weekly and monthly time frames. If I say that there is a possibility of a correction to 91 to 93, I mean some intraday time frames, like now, for example, 4-hour. It's important to distinguish between them. And I'm not saying we're heading into a bear market. Also, hear me right. Even if we go lower into a correction, it could just drag on until spring. This is the peak of the alt season. I don't want that either. But we need to base it on reality. And the stronger the American economy, the more Trump is talking about his new tariffs, the higher the chance that the Fed will cut rates less in 2025. 2. Rate cuts are already expected. If the economy is going to grow at all, that is. But still, the key indicator wasn't yesterday. There are no open positions at JOLTS. The key indicator will be on Friday. This is probably the second, sometimes the third, but more often the second. It's an important indicator for the Fed that they use to make decisions about the key interest rate. Raise it, lower it, or leave it unchanged. Moreover, this unemployment rate isn't in absolute numbers, but rather in relative terms, meaning in percentages. And if it comes in at least within the consensus, just at least, then basically the chances of closing, of breaking this pattern will become much higher. Then, the market won't be that strong, like it was with the job openings. Because the number of job openings doesn't equal the number of people employed. It's just the number of how ready the market is to take in new people. Although potentially this could put pressure on inflation growth. So that was basically about Bitcoin and altcoins. So, to sum up everything I've just said, I'm not really a fan of the current setup. This drop could bounce back to the height of its decline. So, to return to the range of 91 to 93, to do a retest from those levels, maybe. But, for now, that's still within the framework. This block of consolidation. That is, there are no critically important levels broken here, below which the script will need to be rewritten. Just like there was an attempt to break above that level, which turned out to be false. And with yesterday's JOLTS report and low liquidity, they pushed the price back down. So, into this range. So it's too early to panic now. We continue to observe. I am observing, and I will write all my decisions first of all in the Telegram channel. I also want to show you this breakdown of the levels from a blockchain perspective. It's the same thing, just presented horizontally. These are the same horizontal volumes presented from a blockchain perspective. If we take a look, the current trading zone by volume, it is the largest throughout the entire price range since Bitcoin started trading in 2010. There hasn't been a higher traded volume around $15,000 until the bottom of 2020, nor at $61, $62, or $67,000 during the last all-time high. The current value is the highest in trading volume, not at the price of around $61, $62, or even $67,000 during the last all-time high. And the current value is the highest in terms of trading volume. That's why I say, this zone, this is Trump's protection zone, is the zone of maximum danger, and prices shouldn't penetrate here. And if the price penetrates here, then, with a very high probability, we could see the start of a new bear market with a deeper overall correction. Because if the bulls lose this zone, if they let it slip, it will become a huge problem. The start of a new bear market with a deeper overall correction. Because if the bulls lose this zone, if they let it slip, it will become a huge problem. There's going to be a serious overhead resistance. Right now, we're just hanging out in this general block. This is the block that I highlighted for you on the chart. Here's the block. So there was a resistance zone that the bulls tried to break through. Right here around $102,000 to $103,000. It didn't work out. We've returned to about the center of the block. And here's where the main support zone is located. Right in these ranges. That's just a minor detail. Coming back here, there's almost nothing. So, around $91,000 to $93,000, right here. So, we can generally fall down to here and bounce back to the center. But breaking through this zone with a solid hold is crucial. Here, it's going to be really bad. And it's really problematic for the price and for the entire bull market. But right here, once again in this range, especially closer to the center, these are all trading levels. We just returned to the base price. At the most liquid point that we keep trading, nothing critical has happened here so far. This is from the perspective of blockchain. Remember, this zone right here, the trading zone. And as long as the price is moving within it, nothing is happening. You can consider this a buffer zone. That's it. That's all for now. I'll keep you updated, first and foremost, in the Telegram channel. Thanks, everyone. This was Mozart on the line. Good trades, good luck to all of us. And we will count on and hope for that. The odds will work in our favor. Wishing everyone a great day and goodbye to all.